Hello and welcome to another edition of the Fort Dorchester High School Coaches Show, brought to you by our friends at Stokes Mazda. As we come to you here from Stokes Mazda on Ashley Phosphate Road in North Charleston, big supporters of Fort Dorchester athletics. And remember, they give you a chance to kick to win at every Fort Dorchester home game. During halftime, someone has a chance to kick to win a new car for the next year, or if you're 17 and younger, you can kick to win $1,000. So a big thank you to Stokes Mazda for their support. And it is a bye week this week. I'm the voice of the Patriots, Richard Todd, here with head coach Sean Lorenzano. But a bye week means maybe there's not a game on the field, but it does mean that there's lots to talk about when it comes to what's happening off the field. And coach, I guess first thing, hard to believe that the White Knoll game is the halfway point already of the regular season. Just talk about your transition. I mean, you moved here from Florida, and we all know moving sucks. It doesn't matter how far or how close you got to move. Moving sucks. But you're moving while also becoming a new coach of a team that's got a long legacy of success. Just how has the transition been for you in here in the Low Country since you moved from Florida to the Carolina coast?
It was, at first it was a little tough because I had to live in a hotel for a little bit. Me and my daughters came up and we had to live in a hotel. We stayed at like one of those ones that had a little kitchen, and we would kind of just, it was kind of fun because we got to spend a lot of time. We're softball girls, so we do a lot of hotels over the summer and then throughout the year, and so it kind of felt like a big long softball trip, except they had to go to school and stuff like that. So, but it was tough, and we had to sell the house real fast and buy a new house, and I felt like a DIY master for like 2 weeks. I was putting in baseboards and things that you don't do. I had the house for like 20 years. Things you don't do forever, and then like you want to sell the house and get caught up. So, but when we got here, everybody was awesome. Everybody was friendly, everybody was very helpful and teaching me the lay of the land. And so, yeah, man, it's gone surprisingly smooth.
You feel settled in now here at the end of September?
It's football season. I don't feel settled in about anything, man. I'm on my toes. But yeah, it's, I think as a family, yeah, we're kind of just hitting that stride where we're comfortable. We got our house, we got our home. My daughters play softball for Fort. They play golf for Fort too. They've never played golf, so they're playing for Coach Kenny Walker, and they absolutely love it. They're actually playing right now, I think, at Ashley Ridge. So, it's exciting for them to try these new things. And my wife's a math teacher at Fort, so she's kind of transitioned in and she's teaching math. She's doing a great job. And she gave up a lot to come up here. She was a high school basketball coach at Lake Howell, and she was 6A District 2 Coach of the Year a couple years ago.
So y'all are all in when it comes to the Patriots, the entire family. I mean, that's something to remind people about with all of the coaches, that when you're a coach, the sacrifice that your family makes. I know that you spend so much time when you're coaching, but just, when you're a coach's wife or when you're the kids of a coach, your dad is going to be busy doing a lot of things, and the family is all part of this whole team, isn't it?
Right. Everyone feels it. All the assistant coaches, man, we're scrambling. We're trying to organize practice so we can get home and say goodnight to the kids, and the families and wives, they take a big hit. They take a big sacrifice during football season, and so they better be bought in too, and they better love what we're doing and really helping and serving this community and serving these kids, because man, they deserve just as much praise as any of us get on a Friday night, and so just hats off to our families, our wives, our kids. And
absolutely, they make sacrifices as well. You mentioned your assistant coaches. No football program can exist without an incredible staff, great assistant coaches, people who are coaching offensive, defensive line, special teams, quarterbacks, wide receivers. Just talk about your assistant coaches, because the staff is really what brings that whole unit on that field on Friday night.
Right. So I'll start with our coordinators first, because they're working their butts off. Every coach is, but they're the guys kind of behind the scenes, kind of organizing the different schematics. But our defensive coordinator is a mainstay at Fort, Bobby Floyd. He's done such a great job, just getting the boys ready defensively. Like we talked about last few weeks, defense has played lights out and really stepped up and kind of led the way. So he's done a great job. His wife is actually the athletic director at the school.
Okay.
His daughter plays, again, another Fort family that's all in for years and years. Daughter plays soccer. Son plays, been brought up in the Fort program. He's still in middle school, but he'll be coming to Fort. But he plays football and soccer, and I think he played B-team soccer for Fort last year. So it's just awesome to see families all just really all into the community, all in serving. And our offensive coordinator is Brandon Cantrell. And he came. I think Coach LaPrade brought him on to coach quarterbacks a couple years ago, and under Josh last year he got to call the offense, and I wanted to give him another chance to call the offense. Doing a great job. Really brings I think he's got like almost 20 years of knowledge and coordinating and coaching experience. Played at Clemson. I think played quarterback at Clemson too. So he was, he comes with a wealth of knowledge. He's doing a great job working his butt off. And then our special teams coordinator is another Fort mainstay in Rashad Smith, our passionate guy, man. He's awesome. He does a great job with the kids. He's, he's really flourishing with his schematic too. Sometimes you get younger coaches that just really need a shot, man, and he is all in. I'm watching hours of film that he's watching. I could kind of track who's watching film and stuff, and man, he's really putting in a lot of work and really trying to perfect that phase of the game, because really I'm preaching all three phases of the game, and if I don't give him ample time to really get right, we're not going to be as successful as we could be. So those are the three coordinators. On the offensive side of the ball, we've got our quarterbacks coach Will Lampkin. He's been around the Low Country for a lot of years as a head coach, tons of experience, really patient with our quarterbacks. I really love what he's doing. A good Christian dude. Our running backs coach was a guy that I brought up from Florida, Darian Walker. He was our offensive coordinator at Lake Howell for a number of years when we turned it around, and it brought him up to coach the running backs up here. He's doing a great job. He worked his way up down in Florida. He was a JV head coach and special teams coordinator, and he got to call the offense. And bringing him up here now, we had those guys in place, so he's coaching offense. He's coaching running backs right now. Our offensive line coach is new. He came from Berkeley High School. His name is Sam Mallard. He's been all over the Low Country. He's coached at Goose Creek. He's coached up. He's from the Rock Hill. He's from Rock Hill, so he's played on anything. Went to college at I want to say Newberry. Same thing with Rashad, like the Newberry guys. So it's funny because Coach Walker and Coach Rashad actually played against each other in college. Coach Walker went to Florida Tech University, and they played each other there. I hear him talking
about talking smack to each
other.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's funny to see. So on the defensive side of the ball, we've got coach on our D line is Fred Hamilton.
Fred Hamilton's been around the Low Country for a while.
He's a character, man. He's a guy I would love to have played for when I was a kid, man. He'll get you fired up in 2 seconds, man. And you enjoy coaching with him. You enjoy hearing the stories. He knows so much when you're game planning. You go to Fred and he'll tell you exactly what's going on. He does a great job, and he's a great job with the kids. Our linebackers coach was actually on the other side of the ball coaching H-backs last year, Derek McMichael.
Okay.
And he's kind of come through the Fort ranks as well as a JV guy and worked his way up, and he's doing a great job with those kids. Very attention to detail, and so they're working really good. And again, Rashad Smith also coaches our defensive backfield too. So he's kind of dual role. Actually, he's triple role. He's calling the plays on the JV defense as well. So he's working his tail off, and he's doing a great job doing it. So.
And I'm sure we can't mention all the names, but also the fact that there are so many great volunteers and boosters who make the game day experience go, help out the team through practice throughout the week. I mean, have you had a chance to interact with them very much as far as the volunteers and the boosters since you're so busy as head coach?
I have, and I forgot one coach, and I didn't mean to forget him, but I knew I was going to do this. And I told you this before. I don't have it all written down. Jeff McElveen's our wide receiver coach. So, and his dad is actually the head basketball coach. Jeff coached running backs last year on the varsity level, and he's a great asset, man. Really attention to detail. Played college football at, it's slipping my mind right now. It'll come back to me at some point.
It just speaks to the volume of experience that you've got on the staff.
Yeah.
And then with the boosters and the volunteers, that people who step up and really, it's a labor of love.
Right. So the boosters and volunteers we have, man, they're a tremendous group, and there's really just a small group of people that are doing a lot of work for us. Del Springs, he coaches football for us, but he's also the president of the booster club for us too. He does a great job with it, leading. Under him is our treasurer of the booster club, Nikki Bradford. She's actually Lamarian Thompson's mom. She does a great job with our books and keeping track and telling me no sometimes and saying, Coach, we can't get this, or Coach, let's go. We got the money for it. Let's get it. So she does a great job with that. And they're like all, I'll give you some mornings, but they're all simultaneously doing so much, from raising money to team meals to, just passing out food off after the games to the kids on the bus coming home. Jamie Shorter, she's doing a great job. Her son is Chase. He plays offensive line. David Waymer,
Yep.
his son is on our defensive line as well, and he's doing a great job.
He does some long snapping, I think, for you guys.
He does some
too.
long
Yeah.
snapping and plays defense. He's doing a great job this year. That's our our core group of people that are really, and I won't forget one person, Myrna Pearson. She handles all of our fundraising stuff and sponsorship stuff. So she does such a great job. And if I left anybody out, I'm sorry. But that group right there is kind of our mainstay people that are really working for us. On the opposite, more support stuff, you got Thea Osborne in our front office, who's our assistant.
Been there for years, athletic secretary.
Athletic secretary and then you got Taryn Floyd, who is top notch. I don't think you get any better. I've worked for a lot of people as athletic director, and her attention to detail and her fight that she has for all her coaches and her players and her school, she's awesome.
How about that? The support from athletic director Taryn Floyd, principal Trip Aldridge, and the district athletic directors and stuff. I mean, just welcoming you as a new person in the Low Country. I mean, I know that this is all. I mean, we say it takes a village, and in this case, it really does, with all of the staff, boosters, volunteers, and others. Yeah. But also just having that administrative support.
Yeah, Trip does a great job in giving us what we need when we need it. He's all in as far as football goes, and I don't think we've had to really. I had a wish list, and he took care of it for us, and so did Tyrone Drakeford, our county athletic director, and so they're doing a great job. I really got to kind of work with Tyrone a little bit during. We had this when I first got here, the Special Olympics track meets for our kids, and we got our football guys out, and each school would kind of have a group of guys out to help with the Special Olympics. And Tyrone, that's a new initiative, and I think he kind of got it going. It was awesome. So I got to work with him and see how he operates, and first class, DD2 first class.
Well, it's a great community for the Fort Dorchester Patriots. It's been around now for almost the 30-year existence of the school, and a great legacy of football success that you've inherited and continued as well. And just a chance here on the bye week. We come into the bye week 3-1, and now we go at White Knoll. And as we record this program, that game has been moved up to Wednesday, September 25th, because of the possible effects of Hurricane Helene. That really shortens things up against a team that handily took care of the Patriots last year in the playoffs and went all the way to the state championship, only to lose to Dutch Fork as the state runner-up. Right. That's a tough task that was shortened and made it even harder because of the weather.
It did. And before I forget, I got one more coach I messed up
That's
on.
why we're here.
So I'm going to get this. Our defensive ends coach, Gary Ensminger, he's actually, I played college football with him at Hastings College. He played right next to me on the D-line, man. It's so awesome. He's coached in the Low Country for a long time, actually, probably 10 or 12 years. Started a pressure washing business, but he's coached in Phoenix, Arizona, and then he came out here. So it was a kind of just an awesome joy to bring him back to be able to play with him back in the day and to be able to work with him now. So back to your question.
Well, the energy, though, you bring is infectious, I'm sure, to the staff, to the players, to everybody that you have a chance to interact with as the new Fort Dorchester coach.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I love what I do, and I hope everybody that we surround ourselves with is like-minded. You know what I mean?
Well, and we got to mention the training staff who keeps your players on the field. Doc Rogers, Dr. Jimmy Rogers, who is just an institution, an icon, Danielle Greenman and others, and you have the weight program, because I know you've talked so much about how important it is in the weight room. I mean, these are the people that get your team ready when it comes to getting in shape and staying healthy.
Yeah, Bobby Floyd heads up our strength and conditioning program. He does a great job with it. He's like a big believer and disciple of the weight rooms, as I am too. So it's kind of good that he's like that, because we're getting better and we're getting stronger and we're getting technically sound in the weight room. But Danielle is amazing. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how she does it. She's an athletic trainer, but she's also kind of like our team mama, and she really gets the pulse of the team. She can calm the kid down, calm a coach down. Kind of, I think game one, I went up to her. I was cramping from like my eyeball down to my toe, and I don't know if I didn't drink enough water or something. she took care of me, man. I was ready to go, rocking and rolling in the fourth quarter, and she got it. But she's awesome. And Doc Rogers is just classic.
Yeah.
He's just classic, man. I love him. He's got a line for everything, and he works hard. And he loves the kids. So, yes, the support staff's awesome.
Good man, great trainer, and an even better person as well. Now, at White Knoll, last non-region game of the year. That's a tough test on the road. And then 5 games left, all of them are region games at Ashley Ridge, October 4th. Next home game is West Ashley on Friday, October the 11th. That is a Hall of Fame night as we induct the class of 2024. Just keep in touch with us on our website at FortDorchesterAthletics.com. We'll keep you up to date on what's happening as we hit the midway point of the season. We thank you for watching this edition of the Fort Dorchester High School Coaches Show.